I know some of you are wanting us to start cutting up these shipping containers, but that's not happening just yet. So today we are working on some garden beds that we will be putting inside our greenhouse.
Yeah, we picked these up at Home Depot, and we've used something similar in the past, and we've used a grinder to cut these in half to make them about 1.5 feet tall or so. But what we did is we picked up this drill attachment, and it just goes right into any drill. You don't have to have a DeWalt drill, but it clamps onto the base of your drill, and then the drill just operates these teeth, and they just cut right through up to 18 gauge steel. This is not 18 gauge, but it works so great to cut through this. So we'll cut one here. And you don't even have to push very hard. It just cuts right through it. It's kind of loud, but not like a grinder. So we're gonna go ahead and rip the whole pile. We have 21 of these panels that we need to cut in half, and then we're gonna be positioning them in different places and making different size beds with them. But you'll see all that when we start putting our beds together inside the greenhouse. So, all right, we got all 21 of our panels ripped in half.
And we did buy one extra for good measure.
We do have one extra just in case. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make 4 16-foot long by 4-foot wide beds. And that's gonna be in the center of our greenhouse. So all we need to do is cut 4 of these halves into half again, so that way we have 8 ends for beds. So we're going to go ahead and rip those, and then we're going to have to come back and then measure out some 3-foot wide beds because we want to have a certain layout for our greenhouse. So I'm going to go ahead and measure these out, and then we'll see how that cutter does cutting crossways instead of just straight down the center. All right, moment of truth. Let's see how this sucker does.
Wow.
Perfect.
Look at how nice that edge is. It's not flattened out or anything. That's great.
Yeah, that thing is just awesome.
How much did we pay for it?
It was $70. I think that's probably my favorite attachment for that DeWalt set that I have with all these different tools. It is just night and day difference. We had to rip some stuff for our barn roof. We used tin cutters, just shears, hand ones, and we were both crying by the end of this 12-foot long piece. So if we had those, man, oh man, we could have just ripped it right in half, no problem. So we'll go ahead and cut these down. We need 8 of them. Well, hey, what's going on, guys? Well, today has been a crazy weather day. It rained for an hour or so. It was sunny before that. Then the sun came out, and it just got done hailing Now the sun's back out again, so I have no idea what's going on. So we're kind of stuck inside, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to start working on the chicken coop. I got like a little plan set aside to try to use up all of our scraps from building the barn. So I kind of have the first floor section kind of laid out. I got to nail it together. I did want to let you guys know I fixed my air hose. So I just put a brand new fitting on there, cut the leaky one off. So now I have my 2 gray air hoses are back, and I don't have to mess with that junky orange air hose. But little chick update. Our 10 little chicks are doing great. Tanya comes out and plays with them, and Ryder still wants to murder them all, but we'll just have to slowly break him of that. Hopefully when we can get him out and let him free range a little bit in the yard and stuff, he'll be able to know that they're not a toy with a squeaker inside of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. I got these pieces pre-cut. I got my legs pre-cut at a piece of treated that I just had left over, and everything hopefully will be just scraps that we have just laying around. We have some sheets of plywood left over from the roof, just all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna try to use all that stuff up before I go buy anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start nailing this together. I got the framing gun out and ready to go. Let's rock and roll. All right, with that side done, we'll go ahead and do the other side and make sure that's nice and square, and then we'll put some feet on here and throw a sheet of plywood. So I'll just keep going. This one's a little bit low, so what I'm going to do is put a shim underneath of this one, and then I'll push this one down and kind of do a little gentle persuasion. Nice. Let's keep going. Alright, air hose is working great. Okay, so there's the base done. I'm going to put feet on all 4 sides, and then I'm going to put tires on 2 of those, because what we want to plan on doing is just kind of free range the chickens, but put an electric net up. And then we got a couple cool ideas. I'm going to build the coop up 16 inches off the ground so they can go underneath of it. And then I think we're going to go ahead and get some sort of a shade cloth or like a sunshade thing that we've seen online on a couple of YouTube channels, and that way they have some cover from aerial predators. So I want to try to figure out a way to do that. So I'll go ahead and put the legs on here and get some sheeting done. All right, I flipped it over. I have these boards crowned up. So just for, you know, over time, any type of, if it sags at all, I want that to go down. So I flipped it over, and I'm just going to take a couple of these 18-inch boards. I want to have they're actually 19 and a half. A couple of these 19 and a half inch boards, and I'm gonna put those underneath of the coop for the feet. And then we're gonna put tires on 2 of them, and then we're gonna be able to pull them around with the tractor or whatever. I wanted to flip these over. That way I can just go ahead and just come up here, and I think we're gonna put them this orientation, and that way we can have a tire on the bottom here. And then the coop's gonna be sitting up 18 inches. And so I'm debating on whether I wanna put 2 of these together and make it like a 4x4, or if just these 2x4s with like a cross brace on it would work. So we'll see. I'll put these feet on it, flip it back over, and then we'll just throw a sheet of plywood on top of here. I'm building this coop to be 4x8, and that way I can just use 1 sheet of plywood. And then the roof, we're gonna use 2 sheets because we're gonna have like a little big overhang, kind of like the barn. I really like that style. And so we'll do it like that. But for the deck of this, I just want to have 1 sheet of plywood on there. So I'm going to go ahead and screw these on, then we'll flip it back upside down so that it's sitting on the feet, and then we'll put the deck on top of it. All right, so I'm putting our feet in, and what I want to do is I want to create a really strong post, so to speak. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a cross brace down, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a block into the next joist over, and then I'm going to put like a 9-inch block on the side. That way this leg can't go this way and rock over time, and then it can't go this way and rock over time because I'm going to have my wheels on here. And when I was cutting those, I was trying to cut them really tight. And so I cut it like 9 5/16 like it measures, and it's just a little bit too tight to get in there. And so I need to make it like 9 1/4. And I'm just using a skill saw, and I just want to show you guys, this is a cool little trick. You know, I'm only gonna take just a little bit off of this with my skill saw, and to keep it square so that I don't tip the blade and cut it out of bevel or anything like that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a scrap chunk of wood, and I'm going to put it right next to my board I want to cut, and that way I have something that my saw can glide on, so to speak. And so we'll go ahead and just cut this off, but this way the actual saw has something to ride on, and you're not trying to like keep the saw from beveling. So just a cool little trick I was told a long time ago. Perfect. Just a little shave. Yeah, nice and tight. And then we'll put this one on, and then this side will be done. So I'm using treated like deck screws to go into this treated wood, but then where the regular 2x4s touch the regular 2x4s, I'm just going to use my nail gun and screws, just some construction screws. We're going to go ahead and throw a couple screws in here and lock this in place. All right, we got the deck built. Basically just a big, I don't know, it's almost like a deck where you'd build a deck, but I put a board on the bottom in the front here because we're gonna use the tractor maybe and pick this up, and then we'll have 2 wheels on the back there. I think it's gonna look pretty good. I didn't have another treated board, so I just used a regular board down there. I'm gonna replace that with treated eventually. But everything's nice and tight. All the posts are done the same way with a brace on both sides so they can't spread or anything. And then we have a 45 cross base going on to give us some strength. And then we're gonna go ahead and throw a sheet of plywood on here, and then we can start putting our walls up. All right, that'll be the back wall. That wall is going to be 4 foot from the bottom of this deck, so to speak. And that way it'll be a full 4 foot sheet of our siding stuff. And then this one's going to be a little bit taller. It's going to be about 5.5 feet tall to give us a 412 pitch is what we're going for on here. And then, so we'll build this next section and then stand it up. All right, there's one side. Now the hard part is going to be tipping this thing up. So let's see how it goes. This is my actual top plate. Not too bad. We got our, I don't know if you'd call that a double top plate, but it's a rip at our 412 pitch. I put it on both plates, and that will have the rafters that sit on top of them. And then I built my first wall. I just used this bottom measurement. It's 41 inches wide, and then I just did a top plate and then calculated out my angles, cut those out. So now we'll just pick this up and nail it down. All right, here we go. Kind of see how the roof is gonna plane off. It's just gonna set right on top of there, top and bottom. All right, well, we got everything framed, walls wise. Still waiting, kind of debating on how big to make the roof, whether I'm gonna make it have a 1 foot overhang or if that's too much, but basically this is what we have. We're gonna have nesting boxes right here, and there's gonna be 8 of those nesting boxes right there, 1 foot by 1 foot. Then you'll walk up here, and this is the door, and then we have 2 roosts, and then there'll be like a little chicken door that will just open up and let the chickens out. The big door on the other side is going to be for us to come in and clean it out. But all right, well, I have to consult with the boss and see what she feels, if that's a good height or not. I'm not sure whether we should do a 2x4 flat for the roost or a 2x4 on edge for the roost. I kind of like the 2x4 on edge just because it'll be strong and I won't have to have like a center brace in there, and that way it'd be a lot easier for us to clean, but we'll figure that out. So I'm gonna have to go research some tires because this thing weighs a ton now, so I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to move this around, but we'll see. So I'll catch up on you as soon as I get the roof panels started building.
Well, good morning. So we took a couple of days off. We had to run and get the storm doors for the greenhouse. We needed to pick up some lumber for making the beds because we used it for the chicken coop. And we also took the day off for Mother's Day, which was yesterday, and spent time with family. But today we are going to just get back at it with the greenhouse, get this other end wall done, and get the track for the wiggle wire, and hopefully get all of that and just be ready for plastic. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we could do it. It's going to be like the next couple days are going to be pretty decent, and we'll just pick a day that's not windy and try to do the plastic that day.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to go, but
yeah, just urgently need to get our plants into the ground, and you know.
Yeah, we're hardening them off, so they're
up by the barn.
Planted, so
they're ready.
they look great.
Yeah, and they're back at it doing more of the foundation work, and yeah, so we're just gonna get back on the greenhouse. Levi already put a string up so that we can keep our line good for that end wall and just get going.
Yeah.
Huh?
So we kind of need a measuring
Oh
tape.
yeah. Well, we got this end wall finished, and now we are going to start working on the wiggle wire, the wiggle wire track.
All right, we got our wire lock base set up on here. We're gonna run this at the top of this headboard, an inch and a half in, all the way down to the other side, and we're gonna do that on both sides, and then we could jump to attaching it to the bows so we could get our film on top of here. So I have a mark here at inch and a half. Just gonna throw a screw in. And then we'll do that every 18 inches all the way down. Should we do 18 from there?
Probably.
You know your 18 table?
Yeah. 18, 36.
Hey! Good job.
54?
72? Nice. one wiggle wire base all the way down the top of this headboard. Now we need to do the same thing on that one, and then and we'll jump to putting them up this bow. And then I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but it is like super windy today now. Last couple 3 or 4 days have been really calm, no wind, and then now that we're getting close to putting the plastic on,
up. Yeah.
it's like if you do tie back or anything like that. So we'll just have to wait for a nice day, but we'll jump on the other side, do the same thing, and then we'll show you guys how we do the bows. These instructions are terrible.
As bad as the garage door?
No, not as bad as the garage door, but close. No, they're good. They just don't explain exactly how to do something, and then they give you a picture, and the picture is so grainy that you can't even make out what it, like, I know that's a greenhouse, but like, and that's a board, but why can't they all look like that picture?
All right, so we got our first set of the what is that, the wiggle wire track that goes on the bow, and now we're gonna start on the other side. And so what Levi's gonna do is he's going to pre-drill into the track.
So we're just going to come up like 1 inch on each edge of this 2x6, which is this, you know, the same thing as this, and then we're going to attach it to here. So what they recommend is putting 3 screws in there. So we're just going to pre-drill through here about 1 inch up on all 4 on both sides, and then we're going to just put 1 in the middle.
So now what we do is we bend this over.
This is the scary part.
It's not scary. It's just interesting. I'll let you do it. I don't think I'm strong enough.
Have some clamps.
These clamps have come in so handy with this project.
All right, and then the wiggle wire will just go right in there. So just pick a spot where it's hitting.
All right.
We'll just continue on. Grab me a clamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Am I doing something
No,
wrong?
you're doing. I just thought it was funny when I kicked it like that.
It wasn't funny. You're the only one laughing.
Let me go through that hole. All right, so this was the cutoff for our side that run down the whole side. This was the extra that was here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this, attach it to this ground stake, and that's what's gonna hold our film in on this end wall here. It'll get attached into here and into here. So it kind of just is a continuous run. A wiggle wire track. All right, well, we took a break from the greenhouse. We have all the wiggle wire base up. We're ready to put plastic up, but like we said earlier, it's super windy, so we decided to switch gears and do a couple other little projects. So right now, Tanya is staining all of our boards. We decided to not use treated in the garden, so we're gonna use just regular wood, but we're gonna treat it with an oil sealer, so it can preserve the wood and it won't rot out. And then we're actually gonna hold it up off of the ground a little bit so it'll stay good for a long time. But she's gonna go ahead and do that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start getting ready for our water catchment system. There's our big barrels. They're gonna go right here by the bed. Mr. Mann's keeping an eye on me. I put 4 stakes in the ground. This one's like 14 feet off the barn. This one's like 3 feet off the barn. And there's gonna be a 4-foot walkway between the water tanks and the barn. And this string represents 3 feet, which is gonna be, I'm gonna put a 1 foot wide French drain in this whole system in case anything were to happen with that. I don't want the water to back up or anything to cause any issues with the tanks. I want the water to just leave. And also, if we get a heavy rain, I don't want to have the water fill up this, because I'm basically going to build a 2-foot swimming pool right here basically. So I don't want water to just pool in there and fill up and cause problems. So I have a string up on 3 sides, and I'm just going to take the tractor and I'm just going to start carving this down. We don't have a backhoe. That would be ideal, but I think I can get it with the tractor. I want to start getting this prepared. So I'm basically just going to dig down 2 feet, and then we're going to put probably 4 or 5 inches of sand down, make that all nice and flat. We're going to set our water tanks on top of the sand, and then we're going to do all the plumbing and stuff, and then we're going to put pea gravel around all that stuff so it brings it up to flat level with the native soil here that we're going to add after we're done building the house. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on doing that, and it's going to be slow going, so wish me luck.
All right, so I'd mentioned that we had to leave the other day to pick up our Azure order. So I wanted to go over the stuff that we bought. So we bought this bag of 9 grain flakes. This is 5 pounds. Some jasmine rice, some basmati rice, brown basmati, kidney beans, some bread flour. I'm trying to get into making more homemade things, bread. But I read something that using bread flour for making tortillas is really good, so I'm gonna attempt to do that. So I picked up some of that. We got some organic dried mango. We used to buy this actually at Costco, dried mango, but they've switched it and now it's covered in sugar. So we switched to buying it here. Some black beans, some unsulfured dried apricots, tricolor quinoa, black-eyed peas, some raw sunflower seeds, pinto beans, and then 1 pound of organic garlic, 3 pounds of organic sweet onions. And then this is new to me. I just thought I'd give it a try, and these are sunchokes. I have never bought these before, I've never cooked with them, and I don't believe I've ever eaten them, but I thought it would be kind of cool to try. If any of you have any recipes that you use sunchokes for, I would love to hear about those. So the total for all of this stuff was, hold on, $121.19. So honestly, that is not bad as far as I'm concerned for, I mean, everything here is either organic or non-GMO. In fact, the only thing that's not organic is the oats over there. So, pretty good deal. What I'll do is I'm just gonna, for those of you who don't know about Azure Standard, they are a kind of, you know, obviously bulk, but not everything is bulk. Buying club, you order once a month and then you meet at a drop location and you help unload the truck and then everybody takes their orders home. But I will leave their the website link to Azure in the description below, so if you're interested you can take a look at that.